The member for Préparations South and Leader of the Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, Mr. Speaker, it's been hot in New Brunswick, and it's just the first week of June. New Brunswickers want to know how climate ready we actually are. Is there a plan? Students have been sent home in early June because their classrooms are too hot. Rural schools are trucking water in because their wells can't supply them. Rural households are worried about their wells running dry. Farmers culling their herds for lack of hay. Toxic blue-green algae outbreaks in our lakes and rivers, critical infrastructure from highways and rail lines to sewage treatment plants at risk of flooding from storm surges. There's no inland flood mapping for communities to enable them to implement their climate protection plans. I don't think we are prepared, Mr. Speaker, at all. Can the Minister of Environment and Climate Change tell us what is his plan to make New Brunswick climate ready?
The Minister of Environment and Climate Change in the gallery.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question across the way. We are getting ready, better now than ever before. We have $36 million coming out for the Climate Change Fund. It was determined across government departments by the directors on that committee to come up with a lot of projects. There's $36 million I mentioned. It's across DAF, DTI, Environment, Climate Change, also social development, I believe here, and yes, service and project, RDC as well. You'll be very pleased in the next week or two when things are announced. We're pretty excited, and we are moving ahead. Thank you.
Member for Préparations South and Leader of the Party.
Well, Mr. Speaker, when your kids are sent home from school because it's too hot to learn, I wouldn't say we're climate ready. A lot more needs to be done. And a lot more needs to be done if renewable energy and energy efficiency are to flourish in New Brunswick. We need to be building much greener, cooler buildings. We need actual targets to substantially increase the energy efficiency of our existing homes and our existing commercial buildings and industrial buildings. This is good for the climate, super for the pocketbook, and great for the building sector. And we actually need targets to substitute renewable energy for non-renewable energy, and the legislation and programs to achieve them. Does the Minister of Environment and Climate Change have a plan?
The Minister of Environment and Climate Change in the gallery.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we do have a plan. It'll be rolled out shortly, more now than ever before. We are moving ahead for sure. Being a retired school teacher myself and school principal, you'll never provide enough money to cool the schools in the province. It's financially impossible. These are changing times, and this week has been extremely hot, especially here in the Ledge as well. But I want you to know that we are committed to being part of the climate change solution. And as you heard before, the Standing Committee on Climate Change is coming up with the stewardship and the actions regarding the climate change plan. Lots of good things on the horizon. It's not all doom and gloom. We are moving ahead, and you'll know at that time when it is rolled out. We have the new solar mills coming out in St. John last week, the announcement that's coming up in me. That's great news for the St. John area. As much as we want these things to happen, not every part of the province wants them to happen in their backyard, in their location. And also the board was appointed, I mentioned before, regarding the deputy ministers.
Minister.